Adequate documentation will vary depending on the specific HOPWA activity. Basic documentation examples for the HOPWA program are provided here as an overall illustration. For client eligibility, required documentation includes proof of HIV status, as well as household income and composition. For rental assistance, documentation includes annual income determination, annual rent calculation, housing inspection, lease, rent standard, and canceled checks to landlord. For short-term rent, mortgage, and utility assistance, source documentation includes evidence of need, a time limit calculation, and canceled payment checks. For facility-based rental assistance, including operating costs, leasing, and master leasing, what is required can include documentation of adequate services, rent calculation, leases, records supporting operating costs, such as maintenance cost records, bills or invoices for utilities, insurance, and documentation for materials related to project and indirect cost documentation. For supportive services, the documentation could include the type of service delivered, that services were delivered, personnel expense records, and client participation records. Administrative costs can be documented through personnel expense records, showing time as an administrative function rather than a project cost, and indirect cost documentation, if applicable.